Greetings, one and all. Just doing a quick video here because of the recent announcements at Hall H over at San Diego Comic Con that was on today. I've seen all the footage and the announcements that have been coming out, and I thought about doing a whole chunk cast, a long form episode tonight, but the announcements weren't really anything that we didn't already know, and I couldn't be bothered just retreading stuff that Marvel's already announced. So, but the one thing I do want to talk about is obviously the title of this video. It's Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom, or Dr. Doom, however you wish to name him, or however you are familiar with him, and why I think it's the wrong choice. Okay. Okay, so let me start here. So, they had a perfect opportunity here to launch into an iconic villain that's not been introduced into this Marvel Cinematic Universe before. Same way that they did Logan, right? They gave him a proper send-off with Logan. Hugh Jackman, he walked away. Awesome. What a run, right? Robert Downey Jr., the same thing with Tony Stark and Endgame, and like, what a run. What an ending. Iconic, right? Like, to have the balls after everything that Disney's struggled with and that Marvel's struggled with over since Endgame, the last 5-6 years, where everything's just been subpar at best. So to me, it sounds like clutching straws, trying to get some hype back. Oh, look, Robert Downey Jr.'s coming back. Yeah, but as another character. Oh, right. Now, I understand that Iron Man in the comics has had his evil runs where he's been a bad guy. I get it. But Doctor Doom, if you're going all in on Fantastic Four, if you're finally bringing them into the MCU in a really weird way, by the way, why don't you double down in investing in a great actor? Not saying that he's not a great actor, but another great actor to build out a role on their own for years to come, right? And I say that because, like Robert Downey Jr., he's not a spring chicken anymore, right? Victor Von Doom is a mainstay in Marvel Comics as a primary villain, right? A major threat that they could play on for years to come, right? Movies to come. Just like they did with, Loki, Thanos, all that stuff, right? Intertwining, they could build upon him in ways that they just haven't had yet. How Fantastic Four interacts with him. Then, I mean, what are you going to do with Namor anyway? But where I'm getting at is this can only go one way. So he's going to be playing Dr. Doom. We don't know yet if he's in the Fantastic Four movie, but definitely in Avengers Doomsday, right? Which leads into Avengers Secret Wars. Okay, so it makes sense to have Dr. Doom around and for all that kind of stuff, but this can only go one way. So this is a multiversal story, obviously, being Secret Wars. Having Tony Stark or Victor Von Doom, whatever he is, if he's Tony Stark that gave himself a different name because of his ego, because he's a bad guy, or he's evil or whatever, who knows? But if it is actually Victor Von Doom, and not just Stark gone bad, why not another actor? Because this will confuse the audience, right? And the audience is quite savvy, but he's synonymous with Iron Man. You can't look at Robert Downey Jr. without thinking Iron Man, Tony Stark, right? And I get the two sides of the coin analogy where Dr. Doom could potentially be the Tony Stark of that universe that was bad or whatever. Like, I get it, but you're really just trying to get something. The effort to put in to sell that, I think, might outweigh just getting a new good actor in that role to own it, like he did with Tony Stark. And I say this can only go one way because multiversal stories usually end up in casualties, right? Or other universes being wiped from existence or whatever, right? So this is only going to go one way, where he'll come back for these two movies, but then he'll be gone, right? He's not going to play Dr. Doom for the long term. So what do? You just have to go through the whole trouble of, if you want Doctor Doom, a major villain in Marvel comics, to be a mainstay going forward, right? Because Marvel, you need to get some good characters on your slate that people actually care about, right? Because no one cares about what you've been doing lately. So yeah, one way of getting Doctor Doom, and that's great. Cool, Fantastic Four, questionable choices made in that movie already, but the Doctor Doom aspect of Fantastic Four is now, well, for what we know at the moment on face value, is not there, right? So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of effort here to justify Robert Downey Jr.'s place in that role in the story that's going to be told, or that I assume that's going to be told, just for the sake of having a headline or to get the crowds back. Like, oh wow, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. Oh, awesome. Oh, I wonder who else is going to come back, right? How many more? Anyway, it's just going to be another cameo fest or something. Like, are we done with that? Can we move on? It's great. It's fun, but you need to get some groundings down again to have a coherent story that fans can follow and keep turning up for year after year like we did for 10 years, right? This is my opinion, by the way. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are super excited in having Robert Downey Jr. coming back. And it's cool, yeah. It's a headline. Awesome. But if you stop and think a little bit, what does this contribute long term for the Marvel films, right? So let's say Doomsday Secret Wars is done. Is this going to be a whole MCU reboot, right? And you'll just end up recasting everybody anyway, and someone else will be Victor Von Doom? Or what's going to happen? Or, we all wake up in a new universe and Doctor Doom's different now. I don't know. It's just such a villain in Marvel Comics that has such gravitas and power and just epicness about him, to just try and do something heady with it. Like, oh, this is he looks like Tony Stark, but it's Tony Stark from another universe where the evil won out, or whatever it is, or the terms of his life turned out differently. And okay, but people are still seeing him as Robert Downey Jr. or Tony Stark, the audience. Right, so now you got to do that extra hurdle on having the audience buy into it. You're not in a position to be playing such games, Marvel and Disney. You need to get your fans back. You need to get the team on side, and this will be exciting for a couple of days. But when people start thinking about it a bit more, if they're not already, it's just more question marks. Now we're going to wait 2 years, 2027, to get any answers. And and fine, if that's by design, then good on you. You're going to have people talking about this for the next 2 or 3 years. But it's just my 2 cents. I think it's a wrong choice. I honestly do believe it's a wrong choice. It's exciting for a second, and it was. Like, I watched the footage; it was epic, and the fans were, standing up and cheering, and it was a really epic moment. Like, imagine being Robert Downey Jr. in that moment. Like, you must feel like a total boss. But I'm just thinking long term here. Like, I miss being excited for the Marvel films year in, year out. Like, oh wow, what are we going to do next? And yeah, sure, no one saw this coming. I didn't. But there's reasons why I didn't see it coming, because I didn't think they'd be so silly. Right? I didn't think they'd be so. Look, they know what they're doing, obviously. I mean, I believe in the Russos, right? They might not have had such success outside of the Marvel movies, but damn. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. I think they had some involvement in Extraction and that kind of stuff. Those movies are awesome. But anyway, I'll trust them. I mean, they made the best Marvel movies, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. But look, I just think it was a missed opportunity to get someone cool, someone different in, to own the role, to build it out for themselves. I guess maybe they didn't want to take another risk like Jonathan Majors. I don't know. Maybe they had a choice to play into it. Who knows? Like, we need to get a Doctor Doom, but who can we trust? Who's not going to crap their bet on us? Once we've invested all this resource and planning, and it's now out the window. Anyway, I'll stand by this until I'm proven otherwise. Happy to have a discussion about it, but I think Robert Downey Jr., awesome. Like, he's a legend. But I think it's the wrong choice. Like, if you're wanting to build a new legacy or a new way forward, or build new fans, or build a new story or invest in new characters, or not unutilized characters with actors that can age into it, all that kind of stuff, then this isn't the right way to go, I think. But if it's a short-term excitement for a couple movies, just to, I don't know, I'm not buying it, right? Obviously, I'm not buying it. Maybe I'll just need to mull on it a little bit longer, but I've thought about it for this afternoon. I heard the news and I was mulling on it this afternoon, doing my other bits and pieces around here, and I was like, no, it doesn't seem right to me. So I just thought, look, I'll put it out there. I want to get others' opinions, see what they think about it. Like outside of the, oh my God, kind of headline thing, like outside of that, just think a little bit of what that might look like. What are we potentially missing out on with something new on these next bunch of movies? But now we know we've got Robert Downey Jr. playing it, right? When he already carved out, he's the face of the MCU. He already carved out a major part of it for himself, right? And then just I don't know. I just think it sullies it a little bit, I think it sullies it. Sometimes you don't need to do the extra fanboy stuff, Sometimes you just don't need to. Just leave it alone, Just let it be what it is. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm going to be going around in circles and it's just annoying. I just think it's a missed opportunity to take another chance, do something exciting and cool that's outside of safe, Anyway, interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on that. Again, I was going to do a whole chunk cast on the Hall H announcements, but after reviewing the content that was showed from the Marvel floor, and DC didn't have a presence there, and to me there wasn't many other major announcements there to build out a whole show on. So I'm just going to do this, right? This was literally the biggest news of the weekend as far as comics and pop culture and stuff. So that at least made me turn on the computer and want to talk about it. So cool. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for your time. Oh yeah, and by the way, thanks to everybody that picked up a book. I'm going to plug the hell out of this, so you better get used to it. If you haven't checked out the video, the promo video that I put up, please check it out. It explains all about it, why I'm excited about it. And thanks to everybody that's bought a book so far. Man, it's more than I ever expected anyone to do. I expected maybe one or two, right? But it's more than that. So thank you very much. It means a lot to me, and I'll never forget this kind of experience. So thank you very much, and I look forward to building it out more and giving more. So stay tuned. Anyway, Robert Downey Jr., wrong choice. Bye.